While I watched Luke Skywalker demolish those dark troopers in front of Moff Gideon, I wondered, why doesn't the Empire use bullets? After all, Luke Skywalker may be able to predict blaster bullets to block them, but a well spread out shotgun slug will be impossible to block with that skinny ass saber. And put a turret at the end of that hallway, and Luke will suddenly be mincemeat. And so, after some digging, I discovered regular bullets do exist in the Star Wars universe, and they have a unique name: slug throwers. When thinking about the viability of slug throwers, one must first think of a very prevalent form of protection in the Star Wars universe, and I ain't talking condoms. Armor. From Darth Vader to Stormtroopers to Mandalorians, many don various quality armor to protect themselves in the field of battle. And despite however weak these armor may appear, Star Wars armor has gotten strong to the point that even the weakest of armors, I'm talking about you Stormtroopers, can easily deflect slug throwers. The armor only appears weak because they have the target of intensely hot plasma blasts all the time, as well as plot armor. And so it speaks more to the power and destructiveness of blasters that Stormtroopers usually can't take a single hit, rather than the shitty quality of their armor. But the rise of armor brought a unique scenario to slug throwers. Even modern armor could not stop a direct blaster hit, and as a result, the wearing of bulky armor seemed to offer little benefit, and only seemed to obstruct movement. Thus, the blaster arguably increased the usefulness of the slug thrower. Therefore, it could be hypothesized that the Empire could have used slug throwers at great effectiveness against these pesky rebels who wore little armor, while the rebels could not return the favor against the intimidating stormtroopers and their shitty armor. And slug throwers are indeed effective against the most powerful of them all, lightsaber users. When slug throwers make contact with a lightsaber, instead of deflecting back to the user with a Una Veriska, slugs would simply melt, and when it melts, molten vapor fragments and or shrapnel could then fly in all directions, including the direction of the Jedi, and this would cause damage to the Force user, providing an effective means at chipping away towards them. Not to mention that Jedi are usually seen with robes and not heavy armor, meaning a stray bullet hitting them could definitely kill.
It will kill.
In fact, notable Jedi hunter General Grievous, known then as Kaimain Jai Shilao, I'm sure I butchered that, used slug throwers during the Hug War before he became his cybernetic Jedi-killing self. Bounty hunters also preferred using slug throwers due to their stealth capabilities. A slug thrower could be silenced, while a blaster usually could not. Can't suppress the pew pew pew. Also, blaster rounds were almost always visible, contrary to non-tracer rounds used by slug throwers, which added an extra element of confusion and surprise, not allowing the target to see where the shots were coming from. Furthermore, slug throwers were generally cheaper and more easily repaired than blasters. In addition, the projectile itself could have unique properties. Bounty hunters could use all sorts of rounds in their slug throwers, like Hawkeye's bow and arrows. Explosive, incendiary, and mercy slugs could all have been used to vary a bounty hunter's arsenal and surprise the target, and deliver a John Wick type action sequence. But slug throwers were seen only in action by bounty hunters, the poor, and those without access to better weapons, such as the populations of backwater planets including Tatooine and Kylie. The most prominent slug thrower users in post-Nissi canon Star Wars are Tusken Raiders, whose Tusken cyclers were used for long-range battles and could penetrate a trooper's helmet lens or vulnerable neck area. Another known canon user is bounty hunter Aura Singh, who used an adventurer slug thrower rifle for sniping. However, no matter how proficient in the hands of a skilled bounty hunter, slug throwers were considered primitive weapons. When thinking about the Empire, who are known for its prejudice against various alien species and advocating of human superiority, as well as caring more about optics than all-out effectiveness, a la shitty stormtrooper armor that are used for intimidation while not being able to see your opponents. Or the Republic, who wanted to convey the image of a prosperous and flourishing utopia of a society and emphasize aesthetics and elegance, as seen with their starships. It is easy to see why the rundown, primitive way of warfare was never adopted by the full-scale galactic war machine. Not to mention that compared to blasters, slug throwers are very costly to develop at a massive scale. The slug thrower's main disadvantage is the need for the soldier to carry ammunition. Blaster gas canisters and power packs are considerably lighter. It can be difficult to find compatible ammunition since slug thrower calibers vary so wildly. The need to carry multiple types of ammo and deplete so much while firing possesses manufacturing problems in a galaxy filled with quadrillions. And although Disney Star Wars does a bad job showing it, the Star Wars galaxy is massive. Legends Star Wars has a galaxy spanning 3.2 billion systems, with canon not revealing an exact number and doing a terribly shit job at showing the scale. And among these planets are various gravities and atmospheres. Just because a sniper bullet flies one way on a certain planet doesn't mean it'll travel the same way on a different planet. The elite marksman will have to know how to do Valorant non-existent bullet drop and Roblox paintball bullet drop simultaneously, making it much harder to master slug throwers as a viable all-terrain weapon like the plasma blaster. In all, slug throwers were a weapon that was significantly outclassed by blasters in both effectiveness and manufacturing, and only had niche use in cases against Jedi Masters, who numbered thousands in a galaxy full of 100 quadrillion at the height of the Galactic Republic. It's just not worth it changing your current infrastructure just to manufacture some bullets for some pesky Jedi, when you probably have a higher chance of winning the lottery than meeting a Jedi. And Order 66 worked fine anyway. Having to reload usually between 20 to 40 shots, carrying extra weight, and having just marginally better effective range is not worth the trade-off when considering blasters can destroy all sorts of armor, have less moving parts, and thus greater reliability, and are simpler to operate. Putting an E11 blaster rifle in the real world is similar to a 50 cal sniper rifle that has hundreds of shots in a magazine and can fire full auto with minimal recoil in a package as small as an Uzi that requires little to no maintenance and can be manufactured as easily as a Smith & Wesson. Such a weapon, if it were applied in the real world, would likely result in some of the greatest upsets in military history if used by any military. Now, put our equivalent AK-47 or a more modern and advanced SCAR, and you can empty the whole mag into incoming stormtroopers, or ATST, and watch your contribution of nothing at all onto the battlefield. But hey, it'll still do better than Captain Phasma